Welcome to Feel, Heal, Rise, Stories After Silence, where we give a voice to the unheard, speak the unspoken, and remind you that what happens to you will never define you. My name's Erica Blake, and this is a podcast where I read real, anonymous stories about survival, abuse, and what it takes to heal. I'm going to give a trigger warning for this episode. This episode includes emotional, physical, sexual abuse, as well as psychological manipulation, domestic violence, relationship abuse, and narcissistic abuse. If you currently can't listen to this or you're not in the right headspace, that's okay. Go take care of yourself and feel free to come back at a later time. Having said that, let's get into today's submission. I met him while out with friends. He asked me to go camping. I felt something off and I talked with my friends, but they urged me to go. I went and it was great. He was a gentleman. We went a few more times and he asked me, "Do you trust me?" I said yes, and we were intimate. Things seemed so perfect until one night I was laying in bed and he was on the phone. I could tell by his words it was a female. He said, "I wish I fucked you in high school." I was devastated, but I pretended to be asleep. When he came to bed, we had rough sex that involved strangulation. Over the next few weeks, he started becoming verbally abusive. One night, he said, "I'm dating someone." I asked how when we're a couple. He said, "When did I say we were in a relationship?" I said, "Whenever you said that you loved me." He would only be with me if I agreed to a threesome, so I left. I lived on with my life. My childhood best friend, who I hadn't seen in 37 years, found me on Facebook and invited me to visit him after finding out what had happened. My ex, unknowing to me, had been tapping into my phone. He started calling and texting me back to back, threatened to kill me when I returned, and started calling me vile names. When I returned, he wanted to talk. I agreed. He picked me up and we drove around. Then he changed up and told me to call my friend and break things off. I tried to explain to him that we're not in a relationship. He kept telling me to call. He then threatened to kill us both, but I was able to calm him down. Fast forward, he would start wanting to have conversations, but then use it to degrade me. He would attack me if I wanted to walk away when he was degrading me, dragging me across the floor by my hair, choking me, or putting both hands around my neck and pulling me up against the wall, strangling me, punching holes in the wall next to my head, slammed me to the floor, stepped on my face, spit in my face, pushed me to the floor, and threatened to bash in my face if I screamed or tried to cry for help. He would text me saying he's sorry, but in the same breath, he would degrade me. He would hit my hands with objects to get the phone out of my hand whenever I tried to call for help. He threw me on the ground and held me hostage by placing his legs on my arms and his hands gripping my wrists in my home for hours until I told him that I wouldn't leave. He would drive to my home while I was asleep, thinking that somebody was over. He has sex with multiple women, but he accused me of sleeping around. He kicked me out of his vehicle when he was upset. The final straw was when I had surgery that was unrelated to domestic violence. We were returning from a camping trip. He started accusing me of giving him the silent treatment and said things like, "That's why people don't like you," and say that you fuck with all the men. By this time, I was done. I told him, the same people say things about you. He asked, what? And I told him, the people you sit with every week call you gay. He didn't believe me, so I said, ask them. He said, say that again? But I had no need to. He started saying the most vile things imaginable, so I told him, sure, I'm these things, and you're gay, so we're even. I then stopped the RV, and he took my phone by grabbing and twisting the wrist that I had just had surgery on until it hurt so bad that I had to let go. I didn't know where I was, and I had no way to call anyone. That day was the end. I left that day with multiple reminders on my body from years of abuse that are a daily reminder of not what he did, but that I survived. I'm here, 2 years later. I see him at least once a week, but I have nothing to say to him. He's a shell of a person that I pity. I started taking time for me. I talked a lot about everything that I had gone through. I wrote, I lived through it. Sometimes it's a struggle, but I survived. And being able to look at him and feel nothing was the biggest win for me. During this time, I had some coworkers who were social workers, and they helped me a lot. I'm surviving, rebuilding, fully out and recovering. I'm healing. Healing is accepting what happened, knowing it wasn't your fault, knowing that there is help, and living daily. Every day is a new day to start over. My message to your listeners is you can do it. Once is not okay. There's power in leaving, and you will be okay. I was in multiple abusive relationships and stayed because I realized I loved them more than I loved myself. Crying and feeling sad is normal. Abuse is not okay. Survival is mandatory. Speak up and know that there is support and that love starts within. Talking about this story brought up some emotions, but I smile because I survived what could have killed me. Wow. Okay, a few things I'd like to say about this submission. Abuse can start small whenever you're in a position like this. They apologize, you love them so much that you want to forgive them, and they showed you what life was like before, what life was like when everything was fine, when everything was good. They showed you that, so you already know what that's like, what that feels like, what you could have with this person. And all you want is just to go back. So you forgive them, hoping that one day you can go back to the way things were. It's how people get trapped. Another thing I want to say is that it takes so much strength to go through everything you've been through, to feel all of that pain, all of that sadness, and still be able to smile, still be able to be proud of yourself, which is something that I think more survivors need. More survivors need to be proud of themselves, need to realize getting out of a situation that could have killed you. I'm proud of you. You should be proud of you. That's an amazing thing. You're here, you're alive, and you did that. You are the reason that you were able to get out. You did that, and you need to be proud of yourself for getting out. Another thing that I want to note is if somebody's willing to strangle you, they are only one step away from killing you. Now, this is something I heard from somebody that worked with domestic violence victims. She said that once this happens, you need to do everything possible to get out, to run, to get away, because that's pretty much a sign that they are going to be willing to kill you. Ideally, we'd leave with any abuse, but that's definitely one that you need to look out for. Strangulation is a terrifying form of control. It's a significant indicator of future homicide. Even if there's no visible marks, they can still cause injury inside of your throat, internal injuries that could get worse in the next couple days. You could even die days or weeks later due to being strangled. All right, that was really heavy, so let's take a breath to regulate ourselves. We're gonna go in and out. All right. I want to say to the person who wrote this, thank you so much for being honest. Thank you for sharing your truth. And thank you for giving this beautiful message to our listeners. I really appreciate you for trusting me with this story. And if you see yourself in this story today, know that you're not alone, that you'll never be alone, and that you can get help. Make sure you take it easy on yourself tonight. Thank you for listening to Feel, Heal, Rise, Stories After Silence, where we remind you that you're not alone and what happens to you will never define you. Until next time.